orange and white one I bred this summer. I know you probably can't see it. I need to clean the tank. But as you can see, and as you'll see as I'm filming here, I was actually going to cull her. So I put her in one of my adult tanks to think about it, because she does have a really nice fluffy tail, kind of a higher back, nice even eyes. I really like the look of her, even when she was baby colored. But the problem is she swam butt up a lot, and that can be a pre-indicator of swim bladder issues. And so I knew I really should cull her, because, you know, it just, swim bladder issues never really get better. They just progressively will get worse, in my honest opinion. So I put her in my adult tank to think about it, and she actually color changed. Now she's from the same one as this smaller batch, this smaller one here, same batch, but he was in a dark stock tank with you know, several of his siblings, because I hadn't had time to go through and separate. I bring the ones that I can to the pet store. So they were slightly overstocked, and they were in the dark. So apparently light will help your color changing. I mean, she has this gorgeous polka dot color up towards the top, and I really do like her. So, but talking about swim bladder issues brings me to one of the myths, which I know Solid Gold has touched on this, and some of our other people, but I still see it all the time, where people say, oh, your fish has swim bladder issues, well, feed them peas. And peas are not going to fix swim bladder issues. If they already have a malfunctioning swim bladder, that is a malfunction in an organ, and they can eat all the peas they want, and that's not going to fix that organ. All it does is help make the stool easier to pass, so they don't get constipated. You get constipated, your intestines fill up with stool, puts pressure on the swim bladder, and that's why you can see worsening issues with fish. Sounds like there's a vacuum running somewhere, but I don't have a vacuum running somewhere. Anyways, there's a worsening issue with constipation, but if your fish has swimming problems, it already has an issue. And certain things I've seen in time exacerbate it, which is high protein or poor processed, hard to process food. Cold. I've noticed fish that have slight swim bladder problems, it'll get worse as the water gets cold up here in Wisconsin. Depth. I've had fish that didn't even have swim bladder issues. I put them in too deep of a tank, especially these deeper body telescope types, and they'll start having swim bladder problems. And you know, once it gets to the point that a fish is basically stuck up at the top, or swimming loops, you know, floating upside down, that kind of thing, it really, there is no cure that I've found. I've even tried, you know, because I have a bit of a medical background, and I had a fish that was stuck up at the top, and it was to the point where the sores were developing from the air, and I tried needle aspiration, so I did remove excess air, and basically he was just stuck at the bottom instead of the top. So his sores did heal, and he actually lived for another 6 months. He didn't seem like he was suffering. He would just scoot along the bottom. He would be one of the first ones over to food. He unexpectedly passed this summer, but all I really did was prolong things a little bit. When they have true swim bladder, peas are not going to fix anything. So the other myth I've seen with peas, which, you know, makes me laugh, is when people say peas are a laxative. And I've seen this a couple times now, and I've had it said to the point where people say, don't feed your goldfish too many peas because they're a laxative and it'll just make them poop everything out and they won't be getting any nutrients. And, you know, I work in at a hospital. I've actually had to give people enemas. TMI, sorry, but I would love to say, hey, just go home and eat a bag of peas. It doesn't work that way. Laxatives do two things. They pull fluids in from the body to soften up that stool, dilute things down, give you that nice watery diarrhea so you can pass things when you're constipated. Peas don't do that. The other way is they kind of force the muscles and give you those nice abdominal cramping, and then that force pushes everything through. Peas also don't do that. Peas are not a laxative. What they are is high in fiber. And that's a mistake that, you know, people make even with like Metamucil. People think Metamucil is a laxative, you know, and if they're already going, they shouldn't take Metamucil because it'll give them diarrhea. Metamucil will never give you diarrhea. In fact, if you have diarrhea, it'll actually help undiarrhea your diarrhea because it gives some bulk and paste to that. And that's what the high fiber in peas do. It just basically makes the poop more like a paste. It can't solid down. It can't compact because of that pasty fiber in there, and just makes stool easier to pass. They're high in fiber. They're actually high in protein. Legumes, beans, peas, they're great for you. They're great for fish. A lot of gel foods use peas as a base to be fed daily. Now, should you feed your fish strictly peas? No, because a variety is best, so you make sure that they're getting all the vitamins, nutrients, and other things. Like I feed the Rapashi Gold with steamed egg, and even though that seems to be great, I don't use just that. I also feed Omega-1, I rotate that in, rotate in bloodworms, brine shrimp, and romaine lettuce. So I make sure they're getting a variety and they get the nutrients that they need. So no, you shouldn't feed your fish exclusively peas, but it's fine to feed them peas a couple times a week, and it's fine, you know, to use it as a fast and then feed peas to get things going. But peas are not a laxative. So that's the other myth I want to just say is, you know, that's also not going to strictly help with frequent. Well, it does help get things going because of that fiber, but it's not a laxative. Okay, let's just get rid of that myth right there. So rant done. These are some of my babies I'm separating out to hopefully sell. I've got on Monday I've got some stuff coming in for the axolotl tank, so that's going to get a reboot, and they're going to be getting some stuff. My calico telescopes will be 3 weeks old in a couple days, so I'll be doing an update on that. Got 50 subscribers, not sure how I did that, but holy moly. And yeah, so I am going to keep this fish. I absolutely love her coloring, but you know, even in this video you've probably seen how she tends to tilt butt up. So we'll see how long her issues, you know, how long she's issue free, I should say.